Hey Gooners, it's Ava again, and today we need to have an honest conversation. Because right now, Arsenal are in a moment that demands real scrutiny. The Carabao Cup final loss to Manchester City still stings. And then, just when this squad needed to respond, needed to show character, needed to prove the critics wrong, they went and lost to Bournemouth, at home, in the Premier League. And suddenly, the mood around this club has shifted in a way that cannot be ignored. Here is what makes this genuinely alarming. Manchester City, a team that spent large parts of this season looking like a shadow of themselves, are now breathing down Arsenal's neck in the title race. A team that looked finished just weeks ago. A team that had the football world writing their obituary. And yet here they are, closing the gap, picking up points, finding form at precisely the wrong time for Arsenal. If you needed a sign that this Premier League title race is far from over, that is it. The pressure is real. The stakes are enormous. And Arsenal are showing cracks at the worst possible moment. So today we are going to go through everything. The Carabao Cup final defeat, what it exposed, what the sharpest minds in football said about it, the injury crisis that is crippling this squad, the transfer stories brewing underneath all of it, and what Arsenal must do now to hold this season together. Let's get into it properly. Let's start with where we are in the league, because this is the context that makes everything else more urgent. Arsenal have just dropped points at home to Bournemouth, points they simply cannot afford to lose with Manchester City finding their rhythm again. The gap at the top of the table is shrinking, and the fixtures are not getting any easier. This is a club that came into this season with the genuine belief that this was their year. And right now, that belief is being tested in every single direction simultaneously. The Carabao Cup final was supposed to be the launch pad. Win that, build momentum, carry it into the league run-in. Instead, they walked out of Wembley on the wrong end of the result. And the manner of that defeat told a very uncomfortable story. Arsenal came out for the first 20 minutes and showed exactly what they are capable of. The energy was there, the press was there, the belief was visible. And then something dropped. Something changed. And Manchester City, the most tactically disciplined team in English football, did not miss it for a single second. Multiple respected tactical voices have now broken down exactly what Guardiola did, and the picture that emerges is both detailed and deeply concerning. City set up in a narrow zonal 4-2-4, with the front four intelligently positioned to lock off access into Arsenal's double pivot. There was no chaos in what City did. It was entirely calculated denial. Behind the front four, Rodri and Bernardo Silva operated by screening space, shifting ball side when the ball moved, ready to press the pivot or fullbacks while also protecting against direct play. The result was that Arsenal were invited to build, but only in the areas City wanted them to build in. The post-match assessment from those who analyzed it most closely was simple. City did not chase the game, they shaped it. The game plan was brilliant, and it worked. What made it even more devastating was the way City forced Arsenal long and stunted their build by deliberately allowing the center-backs and even the goalkeeper to have the ball for longer periods, knowing those players would struggle to find progressive solutions under that kind of pressure. This was a sophisticated tactical trap, and Arsenal fell into it completely. Guardiola had done his homework. He knew where the vulnerabilities were. He built his entire game plan around them, and Arteta, on that day, did not have the answers. Rio Ferdinand made a point after the final that resonated across the entire football world. He said that beyond the goalkeeper error, the biggest issue was Arsenal not being able to get through City's press. And then he said something really important. He said David Raya, Arsenal's first-choice goalkeeper, is the best goalkeeper in world football right now, and that his distribution would have been a massive factor in that game. He said Raya would have played over City's press at times, would have taken risks, would have put doubt into the minds of City's pressers. He said giving an opposition that kind of uncertainty makes them less convinced when trying to carry out Guardiola's tactical instructions. He concluded plainly, Arsenal did not deal with that pressure one bit. That is a significant finding. The absence of Raya did not just affect Arsenal's shot stopping, it directly weakened their ability to play through the most sophisticated press in English football. Rodri then delivered what might be the most important warning of all. He said City detected Arsenal dropping off physically in the second half, and they capitalized on it deliberately. He said they dropped off a bit and City saw it, wanted it, and went for it. This is not trash talk. This is a tactical warning from one of the most intelligent midfielders in world football. He is telling everyone exactly what City saw. Arsenal's physical intensity dropped, and City exploited it. And the implication for the rest of this season is serious. If Arsenal cannot maintain that intensity for 90 minutes in a major final, it becomes a legitimate concern for every top-level match from this point forward. Micah Richards said it plainly too. He said Arsenal knew exactly what to do in the first 20 minutes with their press. But in the second half, they went back to what he had seen them doing in recent weeks, sitting very deep. And that allowed City to get on the ball, get confident, and Arsenal simply could not get out. He also addressed Bukayo Saka directly. He said, "This is where you separate the boys from the men." He said the combination of the defensive setup and Saka's current dip in form is preventing the world from seeing the best version of him. He said Saka needs to look at this defeat as a turning point and ask himself what he can do in the remaining weeks of the season to show he is still the Saka that everyone knows and loves. Big players turn up in big games, Richard said. That is the expectation now. And then we lost to Bournemouth. After all of that, after the reset of the international break, after the speeches about identity and character, Bournemouth at home, more dropped points, more ammunition for every critic who says this Arsenal squad does not have what it takes. More breathing room handed to a Manchester City side that simply should not be in this conversation right now, given where they were just weeks ago. Now, let's talk about the injury picture, because this is where the real structural problem becomes clear. 6 senior Arsenal players pulled out of their national squads during the international break. Gabriel Magalhaes withdrew from the Brazil squad. William Saliba withdrew from France with a left ankle issue, targeting a possible return for Southampton. Eberechi Eze withdrew from England. Leandro Trossard withdrew from Belgium. Martin Odegaard withdrew from Norway with a knee injury expected to keep him out for around a month, also targeting Southampton as a possible return date. And Jurrien Timber withdrew from the Netherlands. 6 players, 6 different countries, 6 national teams all missing Arsenal personnel at the same time. And on top of those 6, Mikel Merino underwent foot surgery and is looking at a long-term recovery, with his return likely later in the season. Noni Madueke picked up a wrist issue in training before even playing a competitive match in an Arsenal shirt. The list is staggering. Your captain, your most creative midfielder, your best center back, a key wide option, a midfield enforcer, all unavailable or carrying issues simultaneously going into the most important weeks of the season. The one genuinely positive thread inside all of this is that Odegaard did not travel internationally during the break. He stayed at Arsenal's training ground and worked every single day on his knee rehabilitation. He is pushing hard for a return for the Southampton game, and a clearer timeline on his recovery is expected. That speaks to the character of the man. While teammates were traveling the world with their national squads, their captain was at the training ground, doing the work. Quietly, with no fanfare, no social media drama, just doing what needed to be done. Now let's talk about Ben White, because this story has multiple layers. Arsenal are reportedly prepared to sanction his sale this summer as part of a defensive reshaping. White signed from Brighton for around £50 million in 2021, but has seen reduced minutes this season, with Timber establishing himself as the preferred option at right back. The club would consider his departure if suitable offers arrive. And Arsenal are already identifying his potential replacement, with Roma's 22-year-old Brazilian right back Wesley França emerging as the primary target, confirmed now by multiple sources. França has impressed Roma with his athleticism, his defensive quality, and his ability to contribute in attack. He fits the profile of the modern fullback Arsenal want to build around. This is not a rumor. This is a story moving in one consistent direction from multiple credible outlets. There is also the story around Miles Lewis-Skelly. Manchester United are said to be among clubs weighing up a summer move for the 19-year-old left-back, who has fallen down the pecking order with Timber and Calafiori preferred ahead of him. Lewis-Skelly is understood to be open to leaving in search of regular game time. Everton and Brentford are also mentioned. Arsenal will need to handle this carefully. Blocking the development of a homegrown talent of his quality by keeping him on the bench is a disservice to the player. But selling him to a direct rival would be a deeply controversial call. There is no easy answer here. And then there are the exciting transfer stories. Arsenal have been doing extensive groundwork on 18-year-old Lille midfield prodigy Yao Badi, with scouts confirmed to have been physically present at a recent Lille match to watch him. Liverpool, Manchester City, and Chelsea are also watching him. The fact that 4 of England's biggest clubs are all monitoring an 18-year-old playing in Ligue 1 tells you everything about the level of talent we are talking about. Arsenal are not watching him casually. Sending scouts to a specific match is a serious level of commitment, and it fits perfectly with the kind of forward-thinking recruitment that has defined their approach in recent years. And the story around Christian Pulisic adds another dimension entirely. Arsenal are reportedly interested in signing the AC Milan winger this summer. The 27-year-old has been in contract talks with Milan for some time, with his deal expiring in the summer of 2027. Italian journalist Marco Verini confirmed Arsenal are keen and that their interest has caused Milan to pause those contract talks. Milan have set a £65 million asking price, and Pulisic is understood to be open to a return to the Premier League. At 27 and at the peak of his powers, with pace, creativity, and the ability to play across multiple attacking positions, he would be a serious addition to this squad. Now, through all of this noise, there has also been some measured and credible outside perspective worth holding on to. Graham Souness, speaking via the Daily Mail, backed Arsenal to win the Premier League title. He said Arsenal know how to win football matches. He said he has won leagues himself, and they were not always the prettiest outfits, they just got the job done. He said no one remembers how you did it. He said Arsenal will evolve, and they test opponents to their limits. That is a measured endorsement from a man who has won at the highest level. He is not saying Arsenal are perfect. He is saying they have the mentality and the methods to get over the line. And Gyökeres said something important too after the Carabao Cup defeat. He pointed to the international break as a natural reset. He said, of course the team does not feel great right now, but it is not like there is a game in 3 days. He said for sure they will go again and will be even more motivated for the matches ahead. And Declan Rice posted on Instagram after the final with a message that was simple, measured, and exactly what was needed. He said, "One cup final defeat does not define us. It only makes us hungrier to finish the season strong." That is the mentality Arsenal need to hold on to right now. Because here is the reality. Yes, the Carabao Cup is gone. Yes, there was a loss to Bournemouth that nobody can defend. Yes, the injury list is alarming, and Manchester City are closer than anyone expected them to be at this stage of the season. But Arsenal are still in the Premier League title race. They are still in the Champions League. They are still in the FA Cup. The season is not over, not even close. But the warning signs are loud, and they cannot be ignored. The tactical vulnerabilities Guardiola exposed in that final will be studied by every manager Arsenal face between now and the end of the season. The physical drop-off Rodri identified is a real problem that needs a real solution. The injury list needs to clear quickly. And the starters, particularly in attacking positions, need to start delivering, because Arteta cannot rely on his bench to rescue every game indefinitely. When the players come back from the break, when the Premier League resumes, when the Champions League knockout stage continues, we will find out very quickly what this Arsenal squad is truly made of. This is the moment. This is where character is built or broken. And this is where Mikel Arteta's work over the last 3 years either pays off in the most important way possible or falls just short again. This has been Ava, Arsenal analyst. If you found this breakdown valuable, hit subscribe, drop your thoughts in the comments below, and share this with every Gooner you know. The analysis only gets deeper from here. See you in the next one. Come on, Arsenal!